All right. Well, first of all, Susie, before we get started, just in general, you're amazing. Your style is awesome, your personality. And so I want to support you in that, first of all, and just celebrate that as we begin to look at things and move forward. I'm a refiner, okay, and I like to clarify things. That's how I approach. So I'm also a systems and process guy. I'm systematic in what I see and how I process things. And so today, when I'm going to ask a lot of questions, I'm going to try to help refine and clarify some areas. When I'm asking questions, it's not that I don't believe in it, because I believe in you and who you are, and I believe in what you're doing. It's just because I'm a refiner, and so I'm looking at different angles and saying, hey, what about this? Do we think about that? Or how do you see this X, Y, and Z? So I just like to make sure people know that I'm not trying to tear their thing apart. I'm just asking questions, hopefully to continue to propel you. You know, maybe there's something that's triggered and saying, hey, what about this? I didn't think about that before.
Right.
And so that being said, we'll hop in here.
Awesome.
My approach that I want to take today is, and I know you have this expo coming up and you have the challenge coming up, and you're trying to develop things or get things prepared for that. So I don't want to throw you off that track, but my approach is to look at the business kind of as a whole, or I'm assuming you're hoping to develop this into some sort of business. Am I correct in that?
Oh,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And so to look at the business as a whole and say, you know, what are the pieces that are in place, or how do you see this moving forward here?
Okay.
So first of all, just kind of your business structure, or you know, every business basic foundation is I'm adding value and I'm getting value in return, right? In form of money, hopefully. That's what we want. So I would like to look first kind of your core service or product that you're going to offer, and how you're, you know, you're serving people, how you're adding value in that.
Okay. Are you a visual person? Do you want to see it? Because I actually have it written up, but do you prefer to see it or you just want to hear it?
You can explain it for now, and then we'll go from there.
Okay, let me get the right document open.
Sure.
So, because I will be more succinct if I'm going off of what I wrote, then
That's fine.
just
and it
nothing, as
just
you
kind
know.
of putting in, you know, what I know you have a challenge going, and I'll get into that a little bit maybe, but you've had help there, and that's more of your marketing side, right? Your challenge is, how do I get people to know me and come in? And so again, it's like, what is the main service that you're looking
Right.
to offer?
So on the back end of the challenge, I feel like I'm going to offer like 4 weeks of twice a week group coaching. Because in this space, like I'm a coach, so I'm a certified life and business coach, but I'm also the speech therapist. And in this space, I actually am a consultant level person, because I have, you know, as a speech therapist, I have that done that so much. So while I will offer the one-on-one coaching, I also feel like they need that teaching foundation. So 4 weeks of twice a week group coaching, in, you know, in my Facebook group, I'm calling it the confident, either confident caregiver inner circle or confident careblazer inner circle, depending on what I decide with what Doug talked to me about. So that they know that they're not alone, so they have a safe place to process and get reassurance from people that are in the same boat, have a community, have a family where they can ask questions, make sure that they're doing the right thing for their loved one and get the support they need. That there's going to be teaching in that twice a week thing, but it's also going to go into Q&A and support group type things where it's interactive, because they need that place to interact with people.
So that's twice a week for 4 weeks.
Yes, twice a week.
So after that's over, is that the end of your business, or is
No.
there
No, during that time, I'm also going to be offering bonuses. I'm going to give them a confident caregiver assessment to help uncover the blind spots and weaknesses, and so that they can keep their loved one out of the hospital and safe at home for as long as possible, having the confidence that they're making the right decisions for their loved one. I'm going to have like questions that they answer for me, possibly even videos. Like, I can't do direct contact with their loved one without being Medicare credentialed, but which I might do eventually, by the way, but that's not now. To launch, I can't do that. So I might be asking for videos of their loved ones doing certain tasks, and I'll be asking for them to answer questions for me about, you know, how much help their loved one needs in doing certain tasks and things like that. And then I'm gonna help determine what their loved one needs to help keep them safe. This is also still within that 4 weeks.
Okay.
This is a bonus within that 4 weeks.
Sure.
Help. What does their loved one need to keep them safe? I'm going to write a report with recommendations. Basically, I'll be doing a dementia staging, but I don't know if legally I can say that since I didn't see their loved one directly. So I would probably be saying I'm going to utilize the global deterioration scale to get a better understanding of where their loved one is demonstrating the most characteristics, in order to provide the family with individualized tools and recommendations for what to equip them with now and what to be prepared for in the future. So I'm going to be specifically giving them recommendations. I'm going to do a home environmental safety checklist for, you know, what needs to be changed in the home to make them help keep them safe. And then I will, what level of supervision does their loved one need? Do they need 24-hour supervision? What do they need? Is their loved one safe to manage their own medications? Is their loved one safe to drive? Is their loved one safe to live at home? So that's one bonus. Another bonus, I'm trying to connect with a home organizer to help them create like a heavenly atmosphere in the home, so that their atmosphere promotes peace and safety for as long as possible. Like, what about the atmosphere can make their mind worse versus better type thing.
Sure.
And then another bonus is an advanced planning blueprint, so that all of their loved ones' wishes are known and that they have the power to implement them. We got to get them that power of attorney if they don't already have it.
Okay.
You know, and I'm not the one that legally does that, but I
does that, right? But you're helping them take the steps.
And I can have them make sure that they ask the questions, all the questions they need to know if their loved one is still capable of verbalizing what their wishes are. Let's have that discussion now before they're no longer capable, and before they're no longer legally able to sign papers. So those are my bonuses for my core offer after the challenge, on the back end of the challenge. Then after those 4 weeks are done, or if they want to do this right from the get-go, like, I'm not going to tell them no. My higher ticket offer is 12 weeks of one-on-one coaching.
Okay. So you're looking to spend 12 weeks. Ultimately, the main service you're offering is 12-week one-on-one coaching, in order to, you know, help the caregiver is your main focus.
Yes.
Okay.
The caregiver coaching is my focus, not the loved one, unless I get that Medicare credential thing. But even if I get the Medicare credential, I still, you can't change the system. You can't change that person with dementia, because they're not going to remember what you said. The way to change the whole thing is the caregiver, not the actual person.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that's probably my core, like my higher ticket thing is 12 weeks of the coaching. But I feel like those first 4 weeks with all those bonuses gets them more stabilized, like Dub said. And then the 12 weeks after that I'll offer after that is more for the strategies and solutions, like Dub said.
Okay.
And it's more for like helping them with mindset issues or whatever, just helping them to get rid of that stress, insecurity, and fear surrounding their decisions, while helping them keep their parents safe at home, you know, and helping them not to burn out. It's going to have a bonus of inner healing sessions, which if I'm doing this covertly, I'm going to have another option if they're not Kingdom, if they're not receptive to inner healing, like a counseling trauma type session or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's going to have a bonus of 3, like once a month during that 12 weeks, they get 3 of those. And then I'm gonna offer also during that time, if they do this higher ticket offer, I'm gonna offer unlimited boxer coaching, which I may be sorry I did that. And I may never do it again. But that's gonna be part of the thing. I may say that up front, you know, if this is too much, I may never offer this again. But for this offer, you get that opportunity.
Okay.
So
So all this is the journey to get them to the 12 weeks, 12 sessions.
yes.
Okay.
And then if they need more, they can sign up for it again. Like, you know, that can keep going. If I'm adding enough value, but they feel like they're not done, they could get 12 more weeks and keep going. But then here's the other thing that I see this a through line too. When I'm talking about the home and the safety at home, sometimes the most agonizing thing for them is the thought that they have to go somewhere else. And
that's for the loved one or for the caregiver.
For the loved one, but sometimes for the caregiver too, because the caregiver knows how much the loved one wants to stay in their home. And it's agonizing for the caregiver to have to be the one to take away their independence. And it's agonizing for the caregiver to have to be the one to take away the one thing that they want to hold on to still. Okay. So it helps both.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing that I can do, which I'm not fully trained to do yet, I don't know completely how to deliver, so this may be down the line, but the first person that wants this, I can help their, so I feel like it's based on the principle of stewardship. If their loved one owns their home, that's what's in their hand, right? They want to stay, they want nothing but to stay in that home, and they own their own homes. So let's steward what's in their hand and allow them to stay in their home the rest of their life by turning it into an assisted living home, possibly an assisted living memory care home, bringing other people into that home that need care.
Sure.
And those other people can pay for the care that they need, because they can sell their home to go to a facility, but that might only last them 5 to 10 years before that money runs out. Yeah. Or they can pay for a 24-hour care for like 50 some thousand a year easily. And who knows how long the money will stay there for that. But what I could do is I could turn that into this other where they're guaranteed for the rest of their life they can stay in, unless there's, you know, of course you'd have to have quid pro quos of, you know, if you need higher level of Medicare, yeah. then what could be provided in the home, then you can't stay there. But you'll always have a spot in your home as long as you live, as long as the care could be provided there. You know?
So that's something good for down the road, possibly, right? My encouragement is, you know, the one product or service. Obviously, you have this journey, so that's fine. You're looking at the journey on how do I get them there. But if you hone in and focus and, you know, become good in this one area, okay, I'm helping. So your main thing is you're helping the loved one stay at home in their own house, but you're helping the caregiver create a safe environment. You're helping the caregiver make decisions or decide what decisions need to be made. Is that correct?
Yes, helping them know what needs to be done.
And so that's the basic of your business model is going to be, hey, people are the loved ones staying in their home. You're helping the caregiver make decisions. Are you working at all with the self-care of the caregiver, or that's not necessarily
Yes, absolutely. They've got to have good self-care. That's totally going to be a component of it. That I'll be working with the mindset of the caregiver and the self-care of the caregiver, because you can't be a martyr and take care of everybody else, because most likely, I think Pedro encourages niching down. When, you know, carve a niche so tight nobody else can fit into it. And my way of niching down is mompreneurs. So they have a business that they don't want to lose profitability in over this. And they also have teenage children themselves that they're caring for, and they have their elderly parent. And they're in the sandwich generation, in a tug of war, feeling pulled. And so they have to have self-care. They absolutely Yeah, they have to have self-care, they have to have mindsets. And so there's going to be a lot of that. And I have to figure out how the covert versus the overt thing works with that. And I feel like I could do a lot more of that more effectively if I'm overt in that. But at the one-on-one level, if the person is receptive, I'll be able to do that from the get-go with them.
Mhm.
You know? So
So
maybe in a group setting, I could be more covert, but I can be clear on who I am and stand for who I am.
yeah,
And if you're like me and you're faith based, then you would consider it from this angle.
okay, cool. So one of the things that I mentioned in the session with Doug was the communication was a big deal to you between loved ones and the caregiver and things like that, right? So if we're looking at your definition of success with your business, at the end of the day, what is, are you going to say, hey, these results or this amount of money? I don't know where it comes. Where does
You mean
the
my personal success, or you mean
No, just in this
successful in
business,
bringing?
in the business as an entity, you're working to keep the loved one at home, you're helping the caregiver have confidence and take care of themselves through the process. To you, what is going to equal success?
If I can bring hope to a hopeless situation and a hopeless diagnosis,
Okay.
like, because I just did it. I didn't love this. To be really honest, I didn't love this space as a speech therapist, but I feel like so I've been fighting it because my core, one of my core values is hope and freedom. But I want to bring, if I think I might love it if I find that I can bring hope into a hopeless situation, bring peace into a situation that's usually chaotic and
Okay.
just awful. If I can bring freedom to honor their parents, because sometimes the relationship is so messed up they can't, or the finances, like sometimes they're like, this is a toxic relationship, we should not be living together, but there's no other way to do it, there's nobody else to do it, and they're abusing me, but I have to be their primary caregiver. Well,
Okay.
no,
So the
home.
caregiver is living in the same home as the
Not
loved
always, but
one.
sometimes.
Okay.
So I'm actually going to free them up to say, maybe you don't have to live in the same home with them.
Okay.
You can honor your mother and father without having to do that. And if we can take this house and use that to get the care that they need, you don't have to be the day-to-day person to do it.
Sure.
So I'm freeing them up to honor, if they get the inner healing, if they get, so there's inner healing and there's mindsets and there's self-care components to
Okay.
what the caregiver does that also then allows them, even if their loved one can't communicate, they can still connect, because there's not all that trauma and not all that unhealed stuff, because they went and got their healing, and they also don't feel guilt ridden that they have to be the one living with them and taking care of them on the day-to-day basis, and they're financially free to be able to not have to do that too. Okay. So freedom to honor, to heal, to not have to be the day-to-day person if that's gonna be toxic.
Sure. So what does you say hope, what would hope look like? Not yeah, so hope is a pretty general word, and I know you've talked about how it's kind of can be a hopeless situation. Mm-hmm. So there's an ideal picture of hope, but this is a challenging situation. So what is hope? What does hope, just briefly, what does hope look like that you can say, well, we hit hope here? It may not be a complete turnaround of health for the loved one,
right?
But what is hope in this situation?
Really good question. Because it's often not hope that they're going to be cured or fixed. Like that'd be great if miracles happen, but
Sure.
I can't make my program dependent on that.
Right.
So if the miracles don't happen, the hope is that you can make those decisions without agonizing, without stressing. You can be confident that you're not going to have regrets, that you didn't care for them and do the right thing by them. You're not stressing. So, wow, it's a lack of stress, fear, and insecurity. But that's not really hope.
But if I'm in the middle of a situation, I have my loved one who has dementia, what is my hope that I'm holding on to through this situation?
Really good question.
That's fine if
I think that's why I've been struggling with, can I bring hope? Because,
because there's this ideal picture of hope, but
ah,
I believe you can still bring me hope in the middle
right,
of this, but it may not be this ideal that we've put hope.
right,
There would be a hope of some sort. And
right.
And if we look at hope and whatever your definition of hope is, but it's an expectation of something
Yeah.
that's going to happen. So what am I holding on to as an expectation? And then I would ask the same thing for peace then, because again, if you're trying to say, hey, I'm successful in my business, but your idea of hope is over here, and they're having a different kind of hope, that could become a frustration.
Right.
Because you said, well, if I can't bring hope, I want out. I don't want to be here anymore.
Right.
Well, if they're having hope, but it's here, and your idea of hope is over here,
Right.
it's going to feel like
Right.
you're failing.
Right.
Really, you're having impact.
Or if I'm saying I bring hope and their idea of what hope is incongruent, and I felt like I brought them something, but they don't feel like I brought them hope because their idea of hope, like it could go both ways, because then they're unhappy with me.
Yeah.
So
is
I think it's more inner. I think it's more mindset.
Would it be dependent upon each person? So you're talking a lot about mindset. My question is, and I 100% believe in mindset. Well, before I get there, so you're helping the caregiver take care of their loved one or facilitate the care of their loved one. Did the caregiver just find out the news? Is it an early diagnosis early in the process, or have they been in it and now they need, they feel they're in the middle of this journey, they need help, they're worn out, they're frustrated? Which one? Where are they?
Ideally, it would be great if I could get them at the beginning, because then, there's so much more that can be done than, if they can't feed themselves or wipe themselves or like all of that stuff, they're already like so far in. But
so that's the loved one, right? But okay, let me ask you this, because I don't know your field. Do you find, are people diagnosed with dementia and they're already farther in the process, and not everything's an early diagnosis?
Yes, that's one thing. Sometimes they're not even diagnosed until it's further in. And then the other thing is that the physician doesn't often refer us until they're further in. So like it has to, sometimes before I'm put in that situation, it's pretty bad.
Sure.
And I would love it if I could get physicians to go, there's some memory loss here. We don't know if it's dementia or not, but I think this person could be a resource for you.
Sure. So what are the chances, or the current percentages, without changing that industry? What are the current, if you're saying, hey, I want to go run my business today, what are early diagnosis? Is it a high percent or a low percentage of that? Because if you're gauging your business around it, most of my business is going to be, well, they're already pretty far in their dementia journey. It's the caregiver is only now starting their journey, but the loved one is already in this mental journey, or is it, the loved one, it's a high percentage, the loved one is at the beginning of their dementia journey and the caregiver is at the beginning?
They're usually one in the same place, unless there's been some other person. I mean, unless they've been living independently and nobody had a clue how bad it was getting, that could be
Yeah.
the case
But
where
you're normally finding early diagnosis, and that's where you'd like to work with, is the caregiver.
no, that's not the normal.
Okay,
That's
so
where I feel like I can make more impact on early diagnosis, but that's not the normal. Normally they're further in.
sure.
I
So
don't know how I would get that transition.
my thought is, if you're not changing the industry or beginning to get in with doctors, and you're only relying on business here, that's going to be a small percentage then,
Yes.
correct? That you're able to maybe that's ideal, but
That's ideal, but
realistically,
it's probably not
what
realistic.
are you getting right now? Okay,
Yeah, I would probably get them further in.
so
Because
then
they've got to be in more pain to pay for me too. Like, they got to be a little bit further in. I don't know.
I did a little bit of market research, just briefly Googled a couple things, and I'll take you to that in a little bit. But I did find, and correct me if I'm wrong, but just what people were saying is, when they're at the beginning of the journey, they don't really know what's all involved, how complicated it's going to be, how much of a strain it's going to be. I mean, they're like, hey, we have this, we'll get through it.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a completely different customer who you're almost going to have to explain or begin to lead them on the journey of, hey, this is everything that's going to have to take place, versus somebody who's already in the middle. Then they're like, oh crap, I'm overwhelmed, I'm breaking.
Yes. I have a friend who I talked to who, like, when there was first diagnosed, like, they were just completely overwhelmed, but I think that the loved one was a little bit further into the progression.
Okay.
When that diagnosis happened. So, like, maybe they're first diagnosed, but there's enough pain there to know that, oh wow, they really have declined and we're just finding this out, and now I'm completely overwhelmed. Whereas they're early in the diagnosis, but they're early in the memory loss too, and there's not that much that has to change right now. So there's not that much pain.
Okay.
Yeah. So, like, that's going to be a lot less. But yeah,
so just a question then on the mindset. If your highest percentage of client is going to be someone who's already in the mix, kind of struggling for air, keep their head above water, how much energy and time are they going to be able to focus on, say, mindset shift when I'm trying to survive? Will that be something that we know it's beneficial, we know it's going to change your life, but is it something that they're going to have that time and energy to put their focus on? And
they won't, which is why what Dub said was really beneficial. I was originally going to have my core offer be that 12 weeks of coaching. And what Pedro said is, well, they just need help with their decisions. Don't give them coaching. And then what Dub said was, they just need to stabilize. And so that's why I felt like my core offer changed from the 12 weeks of coaching into that little bit lighter,
so
a lower level offer or whatever,
right.
Offer, of the group coaching and just getting them. So yeah, they're going to be some that if I can't stabilize them, they aren't going to be able to do the mindsets or whatever, because they're just in survival mode. But if I can get them, if that first level can get them stabilized and get them out of the survival mode, maybe they will.
Okay. Do you have any other, so I know you're doing the challenge again, that's marketing, so one fee to bring in clients in,
right?
So say I know somebody who has dementia, I'm like, hey, give Suzi a call. So another lead of marketing,
Yep.
word of mouth or whatever, give Suzi a call. When they come to you, what are you going to, so you ran your challenge, that's over, you're running your business, which you're saying is your 12-week coaching package, which has to do with mindset. Then I'm plugging someone in that didn't come through your challenge. how are you going to operate, or do you have any?
I'm probably gonna,
Again, your core business offering currently is your 12 weeks, right? Everything else is your vehicle to get them to one-on-one with Suzi for 12 weeks.
well, if I can keep doing those original 4 weeks and keep getting new people into those original 4 weeks and into that Facebook group where there's that support system, and the Q&A and the, like a support group online or whatever, and I continue to do teachings in there. If I never get them to the 12 week is a little bit higher ticket. It'd be my goal financially, that'd be great. But if they don't ever get to that and they only do that original 4 weeks, when they're done with that 4 weeks, if they don't want the one-on-one, they can stay in that group for a membership fee, like maybe $50 a month membership fee is what I'm thinking. And then when they do need the one-on-one, they know who to reach out to. But then if I just keep running challenges and keep getting more and more new people in, then that community grows bigger and bigger.
Okay.
And when they need the one-on-one, they know that I'm there. But I'd love to work myself out of having to trade time for money. And yes, one-on-one is where I've operated. One-on-one has been my core thing my entire life, whether it's a speech therapy or now the coaching, because now I'm a coach too. And I love the one-on-one. But if I can do this as a consultant level and as group coaching and then kind of serve the masses that way, and they don't have the bandwidth for the one-on-one, that'll be okay.
Okay.
I'll just have to keep getting more and more people into that first 4-week offer, because that can also, I can also get credentialed with Medicare, and I can do direct services then to their loved one, which doesn't pay as much, but that might be the beginning door too. Like if I can get credentialed, get in with doctors, start with that, that's just getting them a place where they can get reassurance.
So
and
then,
ask questions.
is your core product or service just the group coaching versus the one-on-one?
I think the core is the group coaching, and the higher ticket is the one-on-one.
Sure.
The upsell is the one-on-one for the people that actually did get stabilized by the first bit. But yeah, I mean, I guess I led you wrong when I said that's my core. It's my core maybe for my bread and butter, but but I would be, if the other is all this is just a membership, with the initial, all those bonuses and all that initial assessment, and then they stay in the group as a membership to get the reassurance, and they never do the one-on-one, that'll be okay. I want to give them what they, I mean, the one-on-one is probably not even what they want.
So that was going to lead me into, is there anyone else doing this type of thing anywhere?
So there are other speech therapists that do the one-on-one, and they do this, like as a speech therapist, you can do the staging. Okay. I actually met with somebody who has both. She's Medicare credentialed and she does the caregiver coaching. So in the states where she's not licensed, or when a person doesn't want the direct services with the loved one, she does the caregiver coaching. Sometimes she does both. And then, but nobody does this on a group basis, in a group coaching basis that I know, that I've found. Okay. Nobody does this as so there's support. So Alzheimer's.org, they have a 24-hour, 24/7 hotline. And that was one of the things Pedro was saying. Do you get that together and figure out a way to do it? Well, I found a way that's already there, so I don't have to do it. Mm-hmm. And I can point my people to a 24/7 hotline. But that'll be people that they don't necessarily know. Whereas my group, my Facebook group, and my group coaching, they're going to it's going to become a family. I'm going to provide a community and a family. And I don't think that there's a few there's some Facebook groups that do that, that
Okay.
have a community thing where, yeah, you can ask questions. But I don't know of any Facebook group that does regular twice a week group coaching and support group type Q&A where you're actually on Zoom with each other. You get to see each other's faces. You get to know each other live, being able to talk to each other,
Okay.
like what I'm thinking of doing. So not that I know of it that.
Is there a specific reason for that, or
Why,
just,
why nobody's doing it?
yeah, why nobody is?
Um, I think that speech therapists don't think that way. Speech therapists don't think entrepreneurially like that. They think one-on-one. They
Okay.
think, oh, there's HIPAA. We can't connect people with each other. There's got to be a violation of HIPAA, or whatever else. They just don't think that way.
Sure.
They don't think of offering something like that.
Okay.
And I wouldn't have either before being with Pedro and being with all these groups.
Cool. So is your challenge a paid challenge or is it a free challenge?
It's going to be a free challenge
Okay.
on the back.
Again, just looking at your package of what you're offering, you want to keep redoing the challenge, but you're not getting paid for that part. So your energy and stuff you put in, the time you put in there, you're not getting paid for your challenge. You're only getting paid when they're paying their membership to stay in this group.
I'm gonna get paid on the back end if they stay with me to deliver the group coaching.
Sure.
They won't get to get that group coaching or the assessment or any of those bonuses unless they do pay. So I'm thinking I would charge $1,000 for that package without the one-on-one, but with the getting their loved one assessed and getting them that group coaching and that support
Okay.
system.
Yeah.
Community.
Is that something they normally pay for now, or is that normally covered just in general, or how does that work?
Well, the speech therapy component of the staging and making those recommendations for people, safety recommendations, driving, all of that stuff, and the staging, that's paid for by Medicare.
Okay.
But to find that and to make that accessible it's not readily, like, there's a shortage of us. And like my company that trained me to do that, they don't have enough speech therapy coverage. So the last person that's going to get speech therapy is the dementia person compared to the swallowing person, the stroke victim, the things that actually can be moved forward.
Okay.
They probably don't even offer memory care anymore because they don't have the staff to do it, even though they trained me and they developed the program.
Okay.
So I think that it's there, and some people who get it free through Medicare as far as that assessment.
Mm-hmm.
But is the speech therapist that they have access to even trained to do that stuff? First of all, and second of all, is there even accessibility at all to a speech therapist? Okay. So it's going to depend on where the person is and what they find. But so Medicare would pay for the direct one-on-one with the client. But yes, if they want the coaching, that's never free.
Sure.
Although I did this with the client present, sometimes did that coaching for the caregiver,
Okay.
then Medicare paid for it. So
there is a current market for coaching for the caregiver to some extent. They'll be receptive to pain and moving through this, or
I found two people that are doing it, two speech therapists that are they offer the direct therapy, but they also offer caregiver coaching. And the one person is pretty busy, and she charges $150 a session, I think.
Okay. Cool.
So she's pretty busy.
Again, it's not because I don't believe in it. It's just
Right.
I'm looking at different angles and saying, okay, yeah. What about this? Have we thought about that? So
yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's not a wide market. There's not a lot of us that think we can go do that. We think we have to do the therapy and the one-on-one direct with the patient. So we just don't think about, oh, well, we could go off to the side here.
Cool.
There's not that many people that do it.
So your main business structure or your main service that you're launching is going to be this group coaching via the journey of challenges. But if I walk up to you on the street, you will also plug me into the group coaching, say, hey, I have this community.
Yep.
Group coaching, it's a membership fee. This is what I'm doing.
Yes.
That's going to be your main focus. And if you find then that people from there could use some one-on-one, you'll do that, but your main drive is going to be to get them into a group.
I mean, yeah. And then when I do give them the report, I'll do a one-on-one, I'll do one-on-one session to go over the results of my assessment of their loved one. That's when I'll offer the upsell of the 12-week group coaching, and they've then spent 4 weeks with me with the group coaching, and then they have that one-on-one where I speak directly into their situation with personalized recommendations, and then I'll offer the 12-week group coaching. But then if they don't take that, then they can stay in the group with the membership fee.
Okay. But that's almost two separate things, right? So the one is the journey of the challenge, which is your marketing, again, bringing in new clients to meet you, to engage with the business. And that's, hey, it's a free challenge for 3 days or whatever you're doing. As a bonus from there, you get to, sign up into my group for 4 weeks, right?
But not for free.
Right.
Yeah.
But you get to sign up for 4 weeks. From there, you're hoping then to get them to stay in a group, which will be a kind of a reoccurring membership group, or you're going to then
it'd be the same group.
Come back to this group and just you'll be able to keep journeying and moving through on this group that they stay in for 4 weeks. It's in a 4-week cycle.
I'm not going to teach the same thing over and over again every 4 weeks. If I'm bringing new people in, then they'll have access to the replays of the foundational teachings that have already been taught, and I'll have to keep teaching. I'll have to keep finding more things to teach on. But I did make a list of topics I could teach on, and it went on for quite a while. So I could, with the things I could teach on, I could spend I could cover a lot. Yeah. I could take up a lot of those weeks, and then at some point maybe you circle back around to the foundational teaching again, and there's been enough people that have been in there for a long time that they might still benefit from reteaching some of it. But they're gonna get more than just the teaching. They're gonna get the Q&A and the support group by staying in there. They're going to get to be on Zoom, and I'm not going to just teach, because they might not have the bandwidth for tons and tons of teaching. I may be only able to teach 20 minutes, and then the rest of the hour is family time.
Okay. Yeah, again, I'm just trying to look at the business flow and structure and say, okay, after I'm with you for 4 weeks, what has me coming back or staying to keep generating new business. I had an electrical contracting business. The best thing for me was I had a happy client who would call me and be like, hey, I want to do this now. I want to do this addition. I want to add this. I want to add this. Finding new clients if you don't have a steady stream. So I know you're looking to do a little more organic marketing even up front for the challenge. If you capture 5 people and they go through 4 weeks, or 10 people or 20, how do you bring the next group in? You're going to have to capture new people. Or if it's 4 weeks and that's your main business, and I'm finished with 4 weeks and I don't sign up again, then how are you going to capture somebody to fill that place?
I probably have to run another challenge.
Sure.
I mean, unless it doesn't work, then I'll have to find a different model. But I do believe in challenges. So
sure. I'd just say, hey, it's about capturing and
Mhm.
bringing them in. So if you're, whatever your main business structure is, or your business, your product or service, how do we feed people in that? So when you go to Trinity over the weekend, are you advertising your challenge? Or are you advertising, hey, I have this core group, this is my business, it's, I help your, you as a caregiver take care of your loved one, create a safe space, take care of yourself through the process. This is my core business. I do it through this 4-week or this cycle, this all membership group. One door into that is my challenge.
Right.
But if I'm meeting you at Trinity, are you saying, hey, here's the door, come into my membership group, which is my core business offering, or are you bringing me into your, through your marketing channel, come into my challenge?
Well, since I don't have the membership group in place yet, like if I was, 6 weeks from now, when I've got that in place and going, I could talk to somebody, oh yeah, come on in, but, or I can give them the option. I can ask them, what do you need? Like, honestly, I could do a one-on-one. So I probably need to have a one-on-one link ready for this weekend for them to be able to book a Calendly with me, so that I can get with them and ask them questions of where they're at and find out what do they need. And okay, here's my free challenge coming up in a few weeks. Or, do you feel like you could benefit from one-on-one coaching? I
Yeah.
think I'm gonna have to do that, a gap analysis with each person this weekend.
Okay.
I'm going to need to connect with them and at least get them on my list. I'm starting a list. I don't even have a list.
Yeah.
So I don't have a group and I don't have a list. I am going to.
But if I want to come and pay Suzi today, like what am I paying for? And that's kind of what I want you to look at a little bit.
Yeah.
Because yes, the challenge is a marketing model to get people in. But if I meet somebody and they say my front door outside light is not working, if they come to a general contractor, they'll be like, well, I don't know. If they come to an electrician, I'm going to say, hey, I can fix that wire. Let's get you started.
Right.
And they know what they want, what they need. If I come to Suzi, like, is it the general contractor and all these options, or do you have specifically, hey, this is my business, therefore you can engage, I'm stuck with a light that doesn't work, I need an electrician, right? I need Suzi, I need your service. I have my loved one, I'm drowning here, I'm overwhelmed, I don't know what's happening.
Yeah.
Do I need to go through this free challenge, or can I pay you? Can I get some help?
You could pay me and get some help and we can start that one-on-one group coaching. Or if you wanted to, I suppose if they wanted to pay me that package, I could start with their loved one, let that bonus with the assessment with their loved one too. I could start that right away, even before the challenge. They don't have to go through the challenge. If they want to skip the challenge, they can come right to my offer. I just don't quite have that twice a week group coaching community created yet.
Sure.
So I can let them know that's coming. Until then, you want to start with one-on-one, or until then, let's start with your loved one's assessment.
Yeah, remembering that's kind of the core of your business, what you're doing, whether it's assessment, you're helping them stay at home, however, whether you're doing that in group or one-on-one. And so that's how that would help you to confidently communicate. If I meet you at Trinity, well, I have this challenge and that's great, that will help me, but what I have my problem, I need it fixed.
Now, and
I need an electrician. Are you an Yes, I can help you take care of your loved one, or I can help you take care of yourself in the process of dealing with your loved one, X, Y, and Z. Doesn't mean you don't lead them to the free challenge yet, but that's just the journey to working with you, whether in a group or one-on-one.
Exactly. And let's start next week. Here's my Calendly. Here's my funnel. I'm gonna have a funnel. I think coming into it, it's someone that's helping me create it. I think I'm gonna have something, but if nothing else, I'll have a Calendly link. Let's book an appointment.
Cool.
So I'm also gonna give away 4 weeks of coaching. As a, I'm collecting their info. So I think I have a book. Donna Hutcherson and SOK gave me her caregiver's journal book through the fire. So I'm going to give away her PDF version of the book, and in return for you give me your contact information, and also going to do a raffle for 4 weeks of free coaching, free one-on-one.
And again, that's all marketing, right? That's all bringing people in to working with Suzi, working with the business of Suzi.
Yes.
Right now, and that business is, helping caregivers take care of their loved ones.
Yes.
So I'm just honing in on that, because that clarity and that confidence in when you have something broken, instead of sending them through your whole process, taking them to the point where you can be the fixer there for them.
Yep, and I can do that. We can start next week, one-on-one. That's totally fine. Or I can start, like, maybe at the expo, I can still offer $1,000 package that's not one-on-one, where I start with the assessment of their loved one, and then when the group coaching things open up, they can come into that.
Yeah.
I can still honor the 4 weeks of the group coaching, even if it doesn't start like right away.
Sure.
But the thing we can start on right away, if they don't want the one-on-one, I can start with the assessing their loved one. I can, they can get me more information about their loved one, so I can start that assessment.
Is that your normal starting point now as well? When you go see a new client for the company, you do an assessment and help them gauge where they're at?
Yes, that is absolutely what I do. Is I start with the assessment, and then I give the staging and give the recommendations.
So now if I walk up to you on the street and say I have this problem, the best route would be to go, let's do an assessment, let's see where your loved one is at, let's do that.
Yeah, I think so. And then when that group coaching starts, you can come in on that too and be part of a community and a family support.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
You think that sounds like the best plan for this weekend?
Well, I'm just trying to see if I'm new to this and I'm not drowning, I can join your challenge and begin, or I need help, I can join your challenge. But if I'm here and I'm saying, hey, I need something fixed now, like how does your business serve me?
Right.
How can you fix my problem?
Right.
And where would we start?
Right.
So I work with personalities, help whether families or companies fit together. Well, the first thing I want to do is what makes the best sense for me is to lead them, take an assessment, let me find out where you guys are at, and then we can say, hey, this is this type of personality, this type of person, position. It doesn't mean that's the same for your field, but when I come in and you meet a new client, like, where are you going to begin to help me immediately?
Yeah, assessment.
An assessment. And so I definitely would again, it would be like when I had an electrical contracting business, I would go give an estimate. I would look at what's going on. That's my initial stage, is to say, hey, this is the problem, I can fix it. This is what we're looking at.
Maybe that needs to start with a free one-on-one. Since I don't have the challenge, maybe that's what I need to offer people this weekend, is just the free one-on-one, just to kind of assess, what do you need and where can we go from here?
Yeah, I guess that's for you to figure out, what could you do if you're doing it for free? How could you do it without getting too much time involved? Not like, if you have to pay for your assessments or not, you don't want to give a ton of outgoing stuff.
Well, I wouldn't be able to give the assessment. It wouldn't be a free assessment. It would be a free consult.
Just
say, this is, unless we determine right then and there, I need the one-on-one, or no, I don't need the one-on-one, I just need you to assess my loved one. Then okay, let's fine. Let's start with that. But if we don't determine that there, then I could offer a free one-on-one consult, quick consult to see where they're at and be able to give that the offer for the next step. But I would not do a free assessment. That's too much.
Yeah. Again, I don't know your field, so I'm just going through thoughts and saying,
It's
hey,
the most expensive.
so, okay, cool. All right. Do you have any questions for me so far with anything that we've talked about?
No, you've given me the what does hope look like and what does peace look like assignment that I think is going to be key for that. And then you've helped me solidify kind of like where I need to focus, because I agree kind of that one-on-one may not be, they may not have the bandwidth for that yet.
Yeah.
So they're stabilized.
So hopefully that didn't confuse your process, just help clarify, hey, this is
I think,
what business is actually offering. My challenge, all that stuff is just part of the marketing, part of the flow. I might begin to have, word of mouth marketing because somebody worked with me, they recommend, so how do I insert them? Well, this is where we start, either an assessment or you come into our membership group or whatever. Because of course, if you're not running a challenge consistently that people can get in, like how do I engage with Suzi then? Do I wait 5 months?
Just a free consult, like
right? There needs to be, I need to get in. So this is your challenge is a marketing push, but then after that, there needs to be an engaged way for prospective clients to engage.
I think it's just book a Calendly, book a like a 15-minute consult with me for free. I think that would be, if I'm not running a challenge and they don't have that, but really just text me, let's just get in a conversation. Honestly.
So the last thing I just wanted to highlight for you here, let me see. I'm actually going to share my screen. Just a little bit on the terminology. So I don't want to change all the wording that you've been working on, but I do just want to give a couple of things I saw. So here's Amazon. If I go to books and unplug my keyboard. So a way to do market research, and part of the terminology is, from what I learned, is when you begin to say the words that people are thinking, that's where they engage. And so what I did here is a good way to find that is I went to Dementia, look at a book. Here's one with a bunch of reviews. So this is a family guide to caring for people who have Alzheimer's.
Oh yeah, that's a big book.
Is that in your field?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like a well-known, fully established book for a very long time that we recommend the caregivers read.
Sure. And that's good, because what you do is you can read through here and begin to look at the comments. I now understand. I understand my loved ones. You begin to see, when I went through and just pulled a couple, it's like comments people were making: hard to deal with my parent with dementia, struggling to know how to care, loss of what to do. So, not to disrupt everything, but when we're talking about confidence, when I scroll through, I didn't really see anybody saying, I want to be confident. They may want to be confident, but they're saying, I now understand, or I don't understand. It's hard to deal with. It's whatever. And so, it's a frustration of uncertainty. I'm feeling guilty about neglecting my family while I'm with my loved one, and neglecting my loved one when I'm with my family. I'm trying to cope those are types of words that you begin to say what these actual people are saying. And so just as you offer your services, or write to people or talk about things, a good practice could be to use terminology that they're actually using. So again, I don't want to jump in, Dub put a flow to the words you were working with. I know Pedro gave you some thoughts. I did just want to highlight a little bit of a brief market research I did. In a great way, again, for anybody who's watching this, is you can go to Amazon, look in the book section, look under books in your field, and begin to look at reviews, and you'll see how people are talking.
I had never thought of looking at book reviews. That's great.
So we want them to be confident, right? But they're saying, help me understand my mom's, Alzheimer's, or so again, keep moving forward. And if you can make tweaks along the way. Right. I like things excellent. And so I'll tend to redo it, research, redo it some more, and not launch. My encouragement to you is just move forward and keep retweaking it. I'm working at that myself, is just putting it out there. It's the best with what I have. And I know along the process, I can change the words, I can change it, whatever. But so that's
I would not be doing this business expo this weekend. I would be like, I'm not ready. I don't have everything perfect. I don't have all my stuff. I would be pushing the date out. But because I can't do that, it's not my event, and I can't pass up this opportunity. Done is better than perfect. So I'm launching on Sunday, whereas I probably would not be if it was just me setting that.
Yeah. But then, so again, if you just highlight, hey, this is how you can engage with me right away. If you're meeting me and you have that situation, or somebody whose parent has dementia, let's hop on a one-on-one call. Let's begin to understand where they're at, how I can work with you, something like that. People are saying also, this helps me understand how to care for myself, understanding the situations. The moments of frustration and anger do not cause guilt because of. So all that type of terminology, if you begin to tie that in, that's people who are actually engaging in the situation with a loved one, their caregiver. That's what they're saying.
Yeah, that's good.
As well as, of course, there's another book or two on there with hundreds or thousands of reviews you can drop in there as well. So that's a good point for market research, just to engage. And then one more thing here. Oh, it's the wrong one. Sorry. Okay. And then we'll wrap it up. Is if you just go to if you go to google.com and it brings up the search bar, and you begin to type in different this shows you what people are searching or Googling. So they're asking dementia caregiver support group. People are searching for that. Dementia caregiver tips, dementia caregiver stress, dementia caregiver support group online, dementia caregiver resources, training. So this is what people are looking for, and beginning to search. That's part of their problem. So you begin to know what are they looking for? What is meaningful to them? Again, I just pulled up, and you can type in, my mom has dementia. Well, I get it. Now what? What should I do? What do I do? My mom has dementia and hates me. You begin to find out where they're at, what they're talking, what they're looking for. And then you can begin to offer your services in line with that. Because again, we know we know they want confidence or they need confidence. We know they need mindset change, but they're not looking for that, right? They're like, what do I do now? I need some tips. I need a support group. I need whatever. And so have your business around that, and then work on undercover with the mindset, work undercover, build confidence. But if you say, hey, come and be confident, they're saying, I don't understand my loved one. I'm stressed out or I'm overwhelmed. What do I do? So yes, confidence is what they need, but that may not, we may be sharing what we want to give them versus what they are saying they actually want.
That makes total sense.
And again, you can start typing random ways, and when you're on Google here, it autofills and you begin to see all these different, what are people looking for? What are they asking for? And therefore I can engage them in that type of area.
Awesome.
So I hope that maybe gives you or anyone else watching this a little clarity, again, as you're saying, all right, I know it's said all the time, and I have it as well. We are excited about what we want to give, what we have to offer. And someone's saying, hey, have this problem. And we're saying, hey, this is my solution. But if we can find how to engage the problem and, even write words or develop programs around what is actually the thought in their head. And when they read it, it's like, that's what I've been saying. I don't understand this situation, or how do I understand my loved one in the middle of this? You'll have people more readily to engage because that's already what they're dealing with. So
yeah, what the thoughts are in their head that they're searching.
It's in their head. So you're not trying to convince them of what you're giving. You're coming along with what they're already saying to themselves or to other people. And they're telling you that by the book reviews, by what they're Googling. They're already saying, this is what I'm looking for. This is what I need. This is what I'm willing to, pay for, or what I want to get rid of. And that's where, with the, what was that term? The care blazer. So it's great, but there's only that one person that's pushing care blazer, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so using terminology as a care blazer won't get people to engage, because no one's saying I want to be a care blazer. They're saying I'm a caregiver that doesn't understand or whatever. When you engage them, they could leave. Once they're in the process of working with you, you could begin to introduce the care blazer concept, and they could leave, I'm a care blazer. But even if you lead with, come in a caregiver and leave a care blazer, well, I don't want to leave a care blazer. I want to understand my loved one and figure this out, right? Because I don't know, the world as a whole is not really understanding care blazer. So if you want to use that terminology, I would encourage you to use language up front that doesn't include that. Bring them in through your process of training, healing, working with their situation. Begin to stick the terminology in. Hey, you as a care blazer, you're confident or whatever, as you transition them, and they may walk out. And later you have this group of care blazers that begins to grow, right? But right now, it's a very unheard of term that doesn't engage with any of my problems or my hopes and desires. And so just a thought on that as well.
That. Typing this, hang on. Yeah. Trying to keep up with what you're saying.
And again, I'll give you the link for this.
Oh, perfect.
And I'm dropping it. Dub asked me to do a recording and drop it in the group that other people can watch and hopefully plug into their business, just part of the process we're looking at. So
perfect. Yeah, no, this has been super helpful for me to just zero in on the language and zero in on what it is that is my offer.
I know you have the event this weekend, and I know you have your challenge coming up, and so I don't my whole thing, of course, is clarity and efficiency. I don't want to come in and add more pieces. I just saw a lot of pieces laying out, and I wanted to try to help just streamline, bring some clarity, and say this all the challenge is not necessarily the business.
No.
It's part, but it's the marketing, right? It's the
Yeah.
journey of getting to know me. But this is what I'm offering down here. This is how people can engage. So I'm going to engage people at this convention, or that, you know, this weekend at Trinity, I'm going to engage people. Hey, let's hop on a call and have a quick chat, or let's do a little assessment. I can do an assessment, but it comes out of not understanding their loved one, or that type of language, and just kind of getting some clarity there. So
Assessment to help you understand your loved one. That's good. Okay.
or, you know, again, I'm just
Yeah.
a couple terms, but when you begin to look through those reviews, you begin to find words or phrases that repeat, and that's the main thing running these people's minds that are drowning in the moment, trying to take care of their loved one. And it's like, what are a couple of those main points that are crushing me? Because so I work with personalities. I put out a post, or, you know, I first told my one product is about build confidence in who you are. And when I began to look at reviews and stuff, people weren't really talking about being confident. They were like, now I understand why I am the way I am, or I was always not liking this part about me, or you began to find the actual words they're saying. Ultimately, the result of that is they have confidence to be who they are. But when I would say that, it wouldn't engage. There was a disconnect.
Right.
Because I'm like, yeah, be confident. But what they're saying is, you know, and I now understand myself, or X, Y, and Z. And so just helping that bridge that gap a little bit, you know. So.
Awesome. Yeah, this has been super helpful. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So thank you for your time, Susie. You know, celebrate what you're doing. Again, you're awesome. And sometimes we can kick ourselves in our style, you know, we're like, well, we're not like this person with all these ideas, or driving this, or X, Y, and Z. And it's like, no, you were made for this time. You were positioned in the space. You have a passion in this arena for a reason. And you've seen success with the clients that you've helped because of who you are, because of your personality and your skill set and all that stuff and what you carry. And so you can bring those solutions, continuing to be you, loving people well in that space, serving them well, helping them figure that stuff out. And so you don't need to shift and like be like this whole other thing, because that's what made, you know, brought you success. Now you may have to be aware and implement some other strategies. That's fine, but not having to shift yourself out, and just continue to embrace who you are, because that's the reason you're positioned where you're at, right? And so
Thank you. That's awesome.
Well, have a wonderful day. And again, if you have any questions ever, I'm, you know, here to just champion you guys, each of us, as we build and impact the world for the kingdom. So whatever I can do.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
See you, Susie.
Bye.
Bye.